So when I go for my long step, my leg gets trapped like this. So I don't get a clean long step. Okay, super common. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting a grip that I otherwise wouldn't be able to get unless I had long stepped. So if I'm here ready to long step, I don't have access to his hip because his knee shield is in my way. But if I long step and he traps my leg, I'm now at an angle to get past his knee shield. So I'm gonna reach around his hip, controlling his pant line, and then I'm gonna control his head, and I'm gonna create a twist in his body while I knee cut, okay? So I'm reaching around. I start to pull his hip to me. As I bring myself back up to my feet, my knee goes in front of his belly, like this. And then my grip on the collar starts to go behind his head, like this. And I wanna make sure that my shoulder is right against his cheek, and my grip is underneath his armpit. So now what I'm able to do with my shoulder and my grip is pull his hips this way while I adjust his face this way. And it's gonna create a twist in his body, and it's gonna make it very hard for him to keep his legs locked while my free leg works to open, okay? Look at my leg. Once I have him in this position, I'm kicking the bottom, I'm kicking the top, and I'm just working my toes out, just like that. Whenever I go into the position where I'm gonna try to do the long step, I don't ever give them reverse de la Riva like this. I don't like sitting on top of this. So as you guys are entering, you wanna kinda turn against their leg. See, it makes it hard for him to put his reverse de la Riva in, and then I start compressing the space right here so it doesn't get in. Boom. And now I've got a nice position where he doesn't have as much control, okay? So if you guys are doing it like this, where you're coming in and your partner's getting this is not gonna be good for you because you're giving them a little bit of an ability to rock you, okay? So look how I turn, go reverse de la Riva. See? Like that. My hand goes in front of his leg. I go around the corner and I grab the seam of his pants. Like I'm gonna poke a stick into the ground like that. Here. My head is still driving into him. My knee goes to the floor. So I'm doing this. As my hand in the collar is going around his head. Here. A lot of this is pulling this and leaning forward. So I'm pulling this to me while I lean forward, and I can feel my shoulder turning him. My knee is starting to slide out. See, it's going from his belly here, down, 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 down. And it's like my hip is going in front of his belly now. And now my other leg can work to free myself. I just do little pushes, and if I feel my foot free, even like a millimeter, I'm like, okay, I'm making progress. And I just keep doing that while he has to maintain this stretch position until my leg gets free. I'm really leaning forward. Shoulders in the face. My arm length, if I reach around and my fingers start to go in the armpit, my shoulder usually always lands against the cheek. So it gives me a lot of control to turn him when I drive my shoulder in. It might be different for you if you have longer limbs or shorter limbs and your partner is a little bit bigger or smaller, but my cue is always going in the armpit, and now I can feel my shoulder working. I'm leaning forward, and I'm pulling his hips to me here. See, my knee starts to slide out. Open the top leg, kick the bottom leg, maintain the shoulder pressure, and get to side control, okay? This is just one of many ways you can finish when they lock your leg. This is my favorite. It feels the most controlling, so I want you guys to try this. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, let's try. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. So this technique works by lifting their hips on one side and turning their face on the other. You're making them do this stretch right here. And you can see as I do this stretch, his legs start to open. This is what we're looking for. Not only does he lose the ability to squeeze on your leg in half guard, but also he doesn't have a strong bridge. This is not a strong bridging position when the spine is twisted. So we're taking advantage of this position to keep him where he is and free the leg. I'm saying this because I see some of you guys are not using the cross face effectively. It's the most important component of this technique. You need to control the direction his face is going. You need to be very careful about where you place your shoulder. Some of you guys are ending up here, where you're hugging the face like this, but it's not creating any rotation, okay? You're just kind of leaning forward into his shoulder. So as I'm coming up, I want to reach my arm really, really deep. So I'm here in my long step. I get my hip grip. As my knee's starting to go to the floor, my arm's going to go deep. And I'm going to make sure my shoulder is finding his cheek. I don't want it on the neck. I want it on his face. Now as I start to come up, my knee goes to the floor. I can feel I have a lot of control over the direction his face is going, and I'm going to use this position to lean forward, but I'm going to favor my shoulder. I'm not just going to lean forward like this. I'm going to start to favor my shoulder, so I'm kind of doing like this here, okay? The whole goal is just to turn him. I almost want to touch his nose to the floor over here. That's kind of what you're thinking in your head. Okay, because the more you do that, the weaker he gets and the easier it is for his legs to open. So the change I want you to make is once you long step and you're reaching across and getting this grip, let go of the collar and try to grab behind his shoulder. Here. Grab the material, start to pull it to you. See, I'm pulling it to me. My knee's going to the floor, and I start to row it. Look. See this? My elbow's kind of pointing into the mat. I pull it to me so that my weight is sitting on it now. And now when I start to lean forward, it's incredible pressure, and his legs can't really stay closed effectively, okay? You can wait here for a bit, work on the legs, and they're just kind of miserable, and you're not really doing anything, okay? So make sure your shoulder's in the right place, all right? Does everybody understand? Okay, just rep it a couple more times. Let's add that detail, and then we'll move on. 1, 2, 3.